The Strategic Arms Limitation Talks, better known as SALT, represent one of the most important diplomatic efforts of the Cold War, a moment when the United States and the Soviet Union realized that the dangerous nuclear arms race had reached a tipping point that threatened global survival, and this script explores how these negotiations reshaped nuclear strategy and international stability. SALT began in 1969 during a period of extreme tension, when both superpowers had amassed vast arsenals of intercontinental ballistic missiles, submarine-launched missiles, and strategic bombers, and the fear of mutually assured destruction was at its peak, motivating leaders to search for mechanisms to control the escalating competition. The talks were held in Helsinki and Vienna, bringing together diplomats, scientists, and military advisors from both nations, each side deeply suspicious of the other yet fully aware that continued arms expansion would only provoke more instability. And after years of negotiations, the effort culminated in the landmark SALT agreements of 1972, which included the anti-ballistic missile treaty restricting missile defense systems to 2 sites per country, as well as an interim agreement that froze the number of strategic ballistic missile launchers, marking the first time during the Cold War that the superpowers formally agreed to limit nuclear capabilities rather than expand them. While SALT didn't reduce existing weapons, it succeeded in slowing the pace of the arms race and opened the door to greater transparency, verification, and communication between Washington and Moscow, helping stabilize a relationship previously defined by secrecy and fear. Following SALT I, both nations recognized that deeper limitations were necessary, leading to SALT II, a far more complex negotiation that sought to cap and regulate MIRVs multiple independently targetable reentry vehicles, which allowed a single missile to carry several nuclear warheads and dramatically increased destructive power. SALT II aimed to prevent unchecked deployment of these advanced systems and to limit overall nuclear stockpiles. And after nearly 7 years of tense discussions, the agreement was signed in 1979 by U.S. President Jimmy Carter and Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev, setting numerical limits on strategic delivery vehicles and heavy bombers. However, the treaty was never formally ratified by the U.S. Senate. After the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, though both sides generally adhered to its principles for several years, because the political logic of restraint remained strong, SALT ultimately did not end the nuclear arms race, but it fundamentally changed how nuclear powers approached diplomacy, showing that even bitter rivals could negotiate limits on the deadliest weapons ever created, and it paved the way for future treaties such as START, New START, and